Welcome to Angel Angela. Today's topic, we are going to be talking about no closure after the narcissist abuse. One of the main reasons you don't get closure after narcissist abuse is mainly because the narcissist does not want to give you closure. And this is not coincidence. It's not coincidence that everyone when they're discarded or they're at the point where they need to discard the narcissist out their life because it's become super toxic that mentally they can't take it anymore. It really boils down to these two things, really, for the most part. And that's that they actually know that they're inflicting pain on you because from the start they already had a purpose of what they were going to use you for, whether it was sex, time, money, whatever it is. They 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 already came with that mentality into the relationship, so to them the closure part, they they know that with not giving you closure, you're going to want it because they've been in these relationships so many times that they know that as a woman or as a man, whoever they're with, that people want closure. You know, a lot of people end bad relationships, and they get that closure at the end because it's a mutual understanding that the relationship's not working out, it's not going to work out. And not just that, no matter how bad the relationship was, it's just not anything compared to the relationship with a narcissist, with someone who you come to understand that never felt any type of love or care in their heart for you at all. They don't care about you. They don't care about your children. They don't care about anyone. So, the second part to this is they don't really care whether they have negative or positive reactions out of people. And this is why they don't care about giving you closure because it gets to the point where they know in their minds that they're going to mess around with the wrong person, that is, they're going to flip out, but they enjoy that. So, of course, they're going to keep trying to anger you and make you feel jealousy and all these different emotions because they don't care. They don't feel anything at all. They actually get off on that. Their whole thing is as long as you're communicating with them, that's what makes them feel whole. That's what makes them feel like, wow, I really have control over this person. I know in their mind they think they don't have control over me because they don't talk to me like that, you know. But I trapped them with a baby, so they have no choice but to talk to me. And they're going to enjoy you watching them move on with other supplies. And even if you say you don't care and you really don't care who he's with, like you honestly don't care and you've moved on, their mentality is so jacked up where they believe in their mind that person's still hurt. Like I heard them. I know they said that they don't care and they moved on and they're married now and they've had other children. They still think about me because I never gave them that closure. So this is why they don't give you closure, because whether you move on or not, they always feel like they have one upped you because they didn't give you that closure. The only time that I think it kind of maybe hurts them for a little bit is when they do see you move on. I think when they see you move on and you're truly happy and you're not talking to them, you cut off all communication, you know, even with your child, I won't tell people how to navigate their relationships with narcissists, but it's not healthy for the kids because these people are just evil and their whole existence is to destroy, and they thought that they can destroy you by having a child and stuff like that. So once they see you move on, it hurts them for a while, but eventually they go back into their delusional world and they start making up stories of why it didn't work out. They start to paint a picture of you that you are not, just to make themselves feel good. So they tell themselves lies and make up stories, and they might even share it with other people, and they actually start to believe it. So you can't really feel bad about not getting closure with a narcissist because their whole existence is very delusional. It doesn't make sense. They live in a dream world, and the people around them live in this dream world right along with them because they feed into everything the narcissist is saying. And even when the narcissist plays them because they're not loyal to anyone, they don't even see it because they were so blinded thinking this is really my friend. He tells me everything. She tells me everything. They give that trust to the narcissist. So when they do bad things to other people and their friends are laughing right along with them, their families laughing right along with them, some of the family, some of the friends might know, and they might, they're all narcissists, so they play with each other. But for the most part, they won't know when they're getting played. And even if they do realize they're getting played, the narcissists, they're brainwashing them. So, this is why it shouldn't really matter not to get closure from the narcissist. They design that so that they can come in and out of your life, even if it's years down the road. It doesn't really matter. It's all designed to just be able to come back in your life. And another reason why they don't give you closure, which they never do when they leave, and they always leave at the worst times, your birthday, you're sick, holidays. They always do things to provoke you because they're always seeking new supply. They always have other supply, even if it's not great, grade A supply. It's always supply to them. And like I said, they really don't care as long as it's supply. So, yeah, they do have a habit of doing that. And one thing about that too is that it's something that they constantly do when you've been with them long enough, months or years, and the relationship is on and off, on and off, on and off. You have to realize that every single time that they've left you with no closure, and they do it on purpose. I've heard narcissists actually say, "Oh, I'm not going to give you any closure," because they know what they're doing. It's not coincidence. They know what they're doing. So they do this to come in and out of your life, and you have to understand that it's never a final time of discard for you. The only thing that happens to you is that you go from grade A to grade B, C, and further more as they get more and more supply. And if you're willing to stick it out, they're definitely willing for you to stick it out with them, and they'll never stop. They'll ruin your life. It doesn't really matter how bad things get. You can be on your deathbed, and still there will not be any remorse. You have to be okay with not getting closure, because at the end of the day, if they had to pull the cord on your deathbed, they would pull that cord immediately and not feel bad about it. And that type of person is really who the type of person that you were sleeping with, that you cared about, is the kind of person that would do that. And I don't feel like anyone deserves to be around those type of people. Um, it's pretty sad because you have to give yourself closure and understand that the closure wasn't given to you because this person looks at you like an item, like they can come back years later because they feel like they impacted your life so much that you need them. And what makes it so sick about that, it's that here they came into your life making you feel like you had things in common with them, but it wasn't really things in common. They were just mirroring back to you who you are. So if you went through something, they went through something similar, and with its own twist. Whatever you went through, they also went through something, or something even worse. It's always about them. And meanwhile, you're stressing out, you're losing sleep, you're angered, you're full of questions, or doubt, or wondering how can this, be going on to someone as good as me, and all these things. While you're doing all of this, they're sitting here feeding you a sad story about their life and things that affected them, and using these things as an excuse for their actions. Meanwhile, half the time, these things that they're telling you are lies. They're not true. These things that they're telling you are lies. So they're stressing you out, making you feel like you have a soulmate, best friend, and you're feeling sorry for them and you're trying to help them. Meanwhile, they're sucking the life soul out of you. And for those who think the narcissist won't come back, they always come back. And that's why you have to be prepared to be strong and understand that this person does not have any love in their heart. Everything is about conning people. Everything is about using people. Everything is about something bad happened in my life. Now take me back. I realized all of a sudden that you were this great person. No, they just know you have a big heart, and they're ready to, if you have any energy inside of you, they're ready to suck it right out. And to the last thing I want to say, because it's something that has reoccurred in my life a couple times, where I'm dating someone and they'll say some crazy crap like, "Oh, you have such good, like, positive energy. I need some of your energy." When they say stuff like that, and you're just like, "Oh, like, you have, like, I don't play like that." So I would say, something like, "Oh, like, you have your own energy, I'm sure. Like, this is mine." Like, this is basically when I realized, like, this person, we're not on the same, like, level at all. So, they'll say stuff like, they'll talk about your energy. They'll even talk about your soul. I've actually had someone tell me that they wanted my soul. And I told them, like, I don't play around like that. And he's like, "Why? I can't take your soul." And I'm like, "No, you can't take my soul. You would have to literally die, come back, die again, come back, and I still wouldn't give you anything." And I, I say this to let you know that these people don't want to give you closure because they want to suck the life out of you, and you don't deserve that. You deserve to give yourself closure. And the closure coming with that, it's realizing who these people are, these type of people, your family, friends. And trust me, I know Narcissists can be like the worst. They never give you closure. The more you try to bring unity into the family and try to point out their flaws and point out your own flaws, they're only going to hear your flaws, and they're only going to tell you that you're overreacting, or if you're just trying to love them and cry and love them and tell them you love them and you don't want things to be like that, they'll tell you you're being too emotional and like you're crazy or something. So I understand that the family, it's hard to let go of family. It's hard to get that closure we need from the people we thought cared about us. But once we realize how to care about ourselves, we won't need anyone to validate us. We won't need that closure. Our closure would be knowing, hey, I know I was cursed with going through this really nasty relationship, but my blessing is actually seeing through people now, because now I'm aware. Now it's scary, because now it's so scary that I'm able to actually see when someone is pretending to be a good Samaritan, people who, you know, constantly act like, oh, I'm gonna go donate to the poor and stuff like that. There's people who are really you know um it's like they're crazy. They're doing it in a crazy, manipulative way. But at the end of the day, you're like, okay, well, you're feeding the poor. So if I'm not, I'm not going to say anything bad about you, because at least you're doing it. But you didn't buy any of this food. You went to go take it from a free church or something. And, like, people do things to get praise, and they're not doing it from their heart, and you can tell the difference, and that's the blessing now. Because before then you probably wouldn't had noticed, and you probably would have been naive to the fact. Having closure can be hard, but it's such a blessing. You're going to go through the downs, the lows. You're going to have nightmares. You're going to have cold sweat. You're going to have moments where you might even find out, the narcissist got married or had a baby, and you might go back and sit back and just kind of get triggered by everything that you've went through. You're going to have times where you might feel like you're a narcissist, or sometimes where you might justify all the bad things that the narcissist did and only focus on the good parts. So you start believing that you actually want this person in your life. But when you really start to analyze the bad things and you actually write them down, and I think that's a good thing to do, is write the good parts and write the bad parts and all the events that happened, all the good events and all the bad events, and just kind of balance that out. So when you do feel weak, you kind of like look at that and realize that's not what you want. And you're going to feel lonely because you gave yourself to someone, and now you're trying to find yourself. And I'm hoping, you're trying to find yourself and not just moving on to the next guy. Although I do encourage to date, I don't encourage to start sleeping with people, but I do encourage to start dating, just because the narcissist moves on quickly. And I'm not going to tell you to just, of course, have some time for yourself, but don't stay in that place where you don't want to do anything, you don't want to be around anyone, you hate being around every single person because nothing feels fulfilling anymore. I get it, but you have to do it because that's the only way to get out of it. There's no other way. You have to face your fears about people, or what can turn out and stuff like that, or you know anything negative. You have to rule it out, but you also have to be safe, because there are a lot of narcissists out here, especially these dating websites. So stay clear from that. My advice is to actually go out with yourself, be able to go out to dinner, go have a cocktail, go work out, do these things, alone. And trust me, when you start feeling good, people see that, and that's how you attract the right and the good people in your life. And I wish you guys the best. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you guys think. And I'll talk to you guys on my next video.